I don't know why I always start dancing. It looks like we're still waiting on YouTube. It seems to be the slow goer.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Looks like YouTube is online. Can I have Fluffy back?
Yes. He was very good for his groom.
Oh, Fluffy, you did so good today. Okay, Fluffy. All right. My pet pro. How much do I owe you? Let's see here.
More than that.
That's not gonna do it.
We had a price increase recently.
It was more?
Yes.
Oh, Fluffy, what did you get into? Did he bite you or something?
It was very, very nice. We had a price increase recently.
Oh. You took all my money. I'm not coming back. I'll tell you, I'm going to smile and say, oh, Fluffy looks so much better for the $300 I just paid you for this groom, but I won't be coming back. I won't tell you that.
25-pound dog.
I'm just going to say, hey, this Fluffy did so good. This is great. All right, Fluffy, you need to go over here somewhere else. That paid too much. Hey, guys, it's Bill here.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're bringing you the Pawfinity Podcast.
Yes.
Episode 6 this week. So we're talking about the ups and downs of price changes.
Yeah, price increases.
And they're not nice for me. I mean, okay, but there are certain things. Before we even get going, I am an advocate for adjusting prices. It's going to sound like it as we go through this. It'll probably sound like I'm not, but there's reasons that I'll describe.
Yeah, this will be a fun episode because we don't necessarily have the same views on all of the topics as far as this one goes. So this will be a nice conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we have going here first? Is there anything before we get going on Pawfinity's end? We're still working on that little sneaky update that will be coming out at the end of the month.
Yes.
It's going very well. We added some new features to it before it's even come out through some conversations with some pet pros. So keep your eyes on that towards August 1st.
September 1st.
Oh, my goodness. We're in August. As far as I know, it's already happened.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get going about talking about that. You can start up with number 1 there.
All right. So how to determine when it's time for a price change? Should we just change the price just because?
I think
everybody else is doing
that's
it?
the trend. Yeah. Somebody raises their price and so do we. And then our clients are like, what are you doing? And I'm not talking about us. I'm pretending that I'm a pet pro or any service business. And we just all start changing our prices at the same time. And no one really has any idea why other than Sally down the street changed her price. So why shouldn't I? I don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are better ways.
Yeah, that's not necessarily the way to go. So if there is an increase in the price of business, you want to calculate the true increase in the cost and then divide that by your number of active clients.
So let's do that. I don't have a calculator here. There we go.
Somewhere in here.
Oh, I can't show this on the screen. I'm just going to have to talk you guys through it. So we do have a calculator here. Let's say
a gallon of shampoo went up $5 and that's going to cost you, let's say $50 more a month.
So your cost went up.
Math.
Now let's do this one. Your cost went up $50 a month in shampoo. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And then the groomer goes and raises their price $10 to $20 each service across the board. So now we had $50 versus something like, I don't know, if they do 100 dogs a month at $20, you know, I mean, that's $2,000 that they made more that month on a $50 increase in price. So the increase has to be relative to something. And we're going to talk about those things as you go down through the list. But when is it time to change your price? And the answer is when your costs go up, or a few of the other things that we'll talk about, you know, like number 3, changing skill sets and other things like that.
Yeah. Increase it reasonably. So if your cost goes up $50, you don't want to raise it, you know, $10 to $20 for every single client.
Right, because it's not relative. So there has to be something behind it. And there's a common thought out there where people just say, well, I'm just going to raise it just because. But your client is going to question that. And what happens is they start to get spiteful. If you raise your prices and you don't really have a great reason why, everyone's going to ask, oh, why are your prices going up? You know, the first thing people think, in my opinion, when someone starts raising their prices is either that they're broke, you know, and they need to make more money. For some reason, they're not doing well. You know, maybe they have less clients or something like that, which we'll talk about the relationship between raising your prices and lowering the volume of clients that you have.
Yeah. So do something for your clients if you're going to raise your prices. Don't just raise them just because. Even if it's as simple as including an extra an extra scent of cologne that the client can now choose from. They can choose from 2 to 3 different types instead of the one you just give them, or bandana, seasonal bandanas. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't even need to be the fancy ones. You can go buy fabric and cut your own, but the client will feel
I
like
thought
they're
everyone
getting
cut their own. Do
something.
they sell them?
They do sell them.
How?
Yes.
I've gotten out of touch with some of the products that are out there. Apparently, what
I
was it?
used to cut my own.
2 episodes ago, you talked about some pumpkin spice sprays, and I blew that one up. Do I have a
'cause you
wah
didn't-
wah on here? Oh, that's not. Yeah, well, that's not it.
Because he didn't believe me.
There
but
we go.
You guys know that pumpkin spice is actually really popular for pet parents, and they make the shampoos
I didn't
and
know
the
this.
cologne and
Yes,
stuff like
so
that.
I was very harsh about this pumpkin spice thing. I had no idea that became so. I'm not trendy. Bill's not a trendy guy. I
He
kind of
does
like.
not drink pumpkin
I
spice lattes
kind of like what I like, and that's it. I mean,
and burn pumpkin spice candles in the office. That's not Bill. But
got to be seasonal about your scent.
just
My scent is consistent throughout the seasons. Let's just go there. Pleasant or not, I don't know. But at least it's the same. You know what you're going to get.
just do something for your clients. It doesn't have to be big. If you increase the cost $5, it doesn't mean you have to increase whatever you're doing for the client $5, but give
Right.
them something
Well, not
back.
$5 each. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the clients will know. I mean, the shampoo didn't go 1,000 times more expensive than it used to be. So,
Yeah.
but
And I mean, sometimes they don't question it, but it does keep in the back of their head. And then if somebody down the street
nope,
opens, okay.
that's number 6.
Oh, okay.
I knew you were going there. That's why I stopped you early. We're going to jump on to number 2,
Okay.
charging by what you're worth. It has no relevance and doesn't work. So what you're worth is an extremely subjective
Absolutely
point of view.
subjective.
And honestly, it's kind of demeaning to me as a topic for someone to say their worth. I mean, because you know, all humans have worth. You know, everyone. If you operate and you work and you try hard, your worth is great. I mean, so does it get any higher than that? I mean, your worth is no greater than any other human that's trying and working their hardest and doing their best.
Absolutely.
So you have to achieve, like something. You know, what was the note I made here? Charge by what you're giving the client, and that's one thing
Yes.
that you were kind of bleeding out to in number 1.
Yeah. Charge by what you're giving the client. So if you're using bottom line shampoos and doing the same haircut on every single dog, you're not going to be charging the same as a salon down the road that may be charging, let's say, $15 more. They could be using a higher end shampoo, or they could be hand scissoring with every single one of their grooms.
Right. And so, but now there's another side to that as well. So your effort does not equal the outcome. This is very important, guys. And this is one of the hardest things that it is as humans. I think that's one of the major flaws that we have as humans, to face what we're not great at. You know, your grooming skills may not be the same as someone else down the street that's charging $10, $20, $30 more than you are. So you can't just raise your price to match theirs just because. You have to be objective and look at what you're actually providing to the client.
And that's super, I mean, I'll just admit it, that's super difficult to do, is to actually evaluate yourself in your work.
I mean, well, if your Maltese has a whole bunch of little stickies coming out of it in all different places.
It doesn't mean that you're a bad groomer at all.
But it means that you charge for the service that you're providing to your customer.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
And you can't just raise prices just because you want to, because that was, you worked really hard on that and it took you a long time. Honestly, and this is going to be a big bad bill coming out, but honestly, regardless of how hard you worked on it, it only produced a certain result. The client pays for that result. And
That's
so
true. Yeah.
if the dog comes out and they're really well cared for and pampered, and the client appreciates the work that you've done, they appreciate the effort that you've put in, they'll give you a gratuity. They will tip you. And that's your bonus. That's your increase of price through the effort that you
That's
put in.
true.
However,
Yeah.
the service that you provided, I mean, if you're selling, what was it that Taco Bell used to say? I probably shouldn't name drop things. I'm probably going to get hit with some kind of censor on YouTube now. The dog, the Chihuahua dog
Yeah.
place, I already named them. So Taco Bell, they used to have like grade D meat or something like that. Back in like the 90s or 80s,
Oh, yes.
they used like the lowest grade human consumable beef that you could like
Yes.
purchase.
Yes.
Should their tacos be the same as the like awesome Mexican place down the street?
No.
It should not be.
Yeah.
But are they both making tacos? Yeah, they are, but they're two completely different grades.
That's a really good example.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, charge by what you're giving the client. So my really cool example that I have number here, I like this number here. Letter B, super extensive. So if you're trying to be a super high-end service, I don't care whether it's training, grooming, you could be dog nail specialty,
Yeah.
boarding, whatever it is. I mean, it could be a plumber. If you're trying to provide a luxury service, you want high-end, high prices, all of that stuff. That's great. I'm all for it. I think that's pretty cool. You're narrowing your field, but those people are very they'll spend, but they expect highly luxurious service. They expect it to be exceptionally clean inside the facility and provide outstanding customer service. They want it to be the people shopping. I'm just going to read this because I really like how this came out. People shopping higher end services are looking for the all about me experience, and with them, it's all about the pet. They want that concierge kind of feel about it.
Yeah. So
right? And there is a market for that. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So high end shampoos, actual taking more time on the grooms themselves.
Right.
I mean, even not writing down their credit card number on a piece of paper and storing it in professional software.
Oh, yeah. If you're trying to be high end, you have to have software to run your business. You need to use professional, commercial payment processing.
Yeah.
Those two, that's...
Yeah, so, if you're going to charge a certain amount, make sure that your service represents that amount.
And understand what the clients expect for that amount that they're paying. So, it's the point of view of that range of people. I mean, they might be paying 2 or 3 times for whatever service other people pay for, that same service. Their lifestyles are different, and you need to understand that lifestyle. You don't have to be a part of it. People that sell Mercedes-Benz cars, let's just say, don't generally drive Mercedes-Benz cars. But they don't need to. They need to understand the people that drive them.
Clients,
correct? Yeah. The people that show up to clean a multi-million-dollar mansion. They don't live in mansions, but they need to understand their clientele and what they expect it to look like.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, and I'm not there. I don't care what level of our hierarchy of incomes or whatever you want to call it is. It doesn't matter. Everyone has their own lifestyle, and they're all beautiful in their own ways, but they're different, and we have to address that difference. The floors in like a mansion are going to be like woods and marbles and stuff, and the floors in like an apartment are going to be more like linoleum, and sometimes you get really nice apartments with like the tiles and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the really nice linoleum with the fake tile. I love that. It's so cool, man. I mean, because it really looks like you kind of have to get down there.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff's come a long way. But anyway, the point of what I'm saying is if you're going to charge a lot of money, you need to do something to satisfy the clientele that you're now drawing in.
Yes.
Conversely, if you're a lower price business, the people in that industry, they expect you to be attentive and fast and clean and organized. They expect efficiency, and that's what they're expecting to get. So, for example, if we go to like a restaurant with a chef, we're going to be there a long time.
Yeah, but
if we go to Chick-fil-A, we're gonna get through that line so fast, and it's gonna be so pleasant. That's the best example of customer service.
Unless it was me a few days ago.
Well, sometimes they drop the ball. I mean, because their average age is like 15 and a half that works there.
But it's a good point. Yeah, if you go to like a place with a chef, it's going to take a long time, but you're going to expect a more flavorful meal. You're going to expect more diverse plate.
And you end up paying 5 times more than you would even at the quite expensive Chick-fil-A, which, I mean, there's like $13 for the number one or something like that now, at least here.
It's not cheap. But in Chick-fil-A, you have the consistency of what they offer. You know what you're going to get. And, I mean, you expect it to be fast every time. And quick. Yes. And
that's the efficiency.
Yep.
That's the efficiency, is because they know what they're doing. They get it done. That's how they can price lower, because they're raising volume. They have more customers, which means they're more resistant to any sort of economic dips. And I like that model. Yeah. Now, you cannot do both. You can't both be luxurious and fast. Argue at me. Let's go. If you try to do something like that, you're going to end up. If you have a huge staff, yes, you can do that because the clientele can churn.
Yeah, but each employee is only going to be focusing on that single pet.
But even
it's
still,
be different.
The service is still taking a long time.
Yes.
So. Yeah. What were we charging? What were we talking about? Charging about your worth, right? Yes. I don't want to get too far off because we tend to talk for an hour. Charging what you're worth. Now, what you're worth means, honestly, to me, means nothing. What the client gets is what you should be charging for. The worth comes from your skill set and what you're willing to do, your effort. I mean, you could be an amazing trainer or groomer and not give any crap about what you're doing that day and do a terrible job. Your worth to me as a client is almost nothing. Yeah. So, on that day, if I'm paying you for what you're worth, okay, well, hang on. You didn't do anything training my dog. You cut my dog's, you cut my dog's ear. You razor burned him because you were, ranting about something. I'm not paying. I'll pay you $5 for what you did there. So you're never paying for what you're worth. You're charging for what you're worth. You're charging for the service you provide.
Yes.
All right, number 3. What's going on here?
Changing skill sets. So as groomers and as pet professionals, we expand our knowledge. We expand our like what we can do for grooming. With that, if you do better, change your skill set, change your price for that. So for instance, if I just took a really big Sparky. If I just took a really big training class on hand scissoring and my hand scissoring went up a notch, I'm going to charge more for the clients that I hand scissor. It's not going to be for everybody, but it would only be for the clients that I spend the time hand scissoring. My price might go up for that.
Right. I love the ones.
But
well, I'm extremely educated. Yeah, right. I'm extremely educated. I've taken all these classes at the trade shows. Joe, I brought you a Labrador for a bath. Like, I don't care that you can color their tails 14 different colors and stuff like that. So, but if I have a dog or if I'm looking at a service that requires all that extra training, like trainers in specific, now, okay, I think that's the only place that we could say all those letters that you guys love to put behind your names, the CBTs, ABTZs, and all that other stuff.
Applies to all
that
dogs,
usually will kind of spill over. What that means is that you, as a trainer, understand dog behavior to a point where you are achieving greatness through training. But because it's all the same, okay, come at me about that. That's fine. I said it's all the same. It's not all the same, but it does follow the same path. We're working with dog behavior.
Yeah, and in relation to that, with grooming, if you take a class on like skin science, that's going to apply to every dog you see. So with that, raise your price across the board.
Well,
but if you're
hang on now, what are you giving me? As I'm the remember
yes,
okay.
Well, let's say
what did I get because you learned about that?
I'm going to evaluate his skin differently than I would have before that, and I might change what I'm doing based on his skin to help improve.
Yes, so stop right there. No, that's good because you're good. You do have a point, but the point is different from what you think. The point is actually that you had you're using your new skill to give me more service.
Yes.
So that's awesome. What you're going to do then is create that new add-on or expand the service, which is what we talk about.
I think
now.
Oh, okay.
I think we're talking about now.
Yeah, changing skill set. Yes,
we're talking about that now. So you're going to expand your service to include a skin evaluation.
Yes.
That's how you can justify to me. I'm going to be like, okay, well, what's this $5 that you're charging me? Like, and you're going to tell me like you did this evaluation.
But if I just took a class on Bichon heads, let's take Bichon heads,
right.
and he had a lab.
He doesn't need a Bichon head.
It's probably not going to apply to him, and you would probably question it, which justifiably you should.
Don't be hurt about that, Fluffy. I think you're a chocolate lab, and you're just fine to me.
So, it's the same thing. Boarding facilities, if you take a new course on cleansing your boarding facility, cleaning it in a better way, that could apply to everyone that walks in.
Oh, I have a good one for a boarding facility. So you guys, air sanitation systems.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes.
And you can, you have to figure out, of course, so if you spend $5,000 on this air sanitation, you're not going to divide that by the 100 clients you have and start charging everybody that much every single visit.
It might take a few months.
It might take a year. It might take 2 years, but the point is to look long game, not short. You're not trying to just gain money today. Okay, I need to get all this money back from my investment. You're investing in your facility, and that is residual. That has durability about it.
Yes.
And you can collect more over a long time. I think that's a great idea with the sanitation. That's what.
Yeah. So, you just have to evaluate what your skill set is, where it's getting better, and who it applies to.
Okay, good. I agree. Yeah, because you're not charging me for a hand stripping on Fluffy here. I definitely won't be coming back.
No.
Number 4, give your clients notice before raising prices. I don't think you have to do anything before you're going to lower a price. They'll just be pleasantly surprised. Promotion might help, but if you're going to raise it,
give them at least 1 to 2 months notice, just as a courtesy. It's not something that you have to do, but your clients will appreciate it.
Especially if you tell them why. Tell them why. Give them some. People say I don't have to explain why. I'm just going to raise my prices. Whoever doesn't like it can leave.
But you can be like, hey, I just took a really great course on skin science, and I can better Fluffy's skin.
Right.
My prices are going to go up
because it now includes a skin evaluation.
Yes. Now includes the skin evaluation.
And so as a client, sometimes I think people forget that there's two sides of this. Like, you're not just a business owner. It's not just, hey, let me squeeze as much out of the client as I can get.
Yeah.
That you're a business owner, but you're also like a customer or a client of life. Like, you go out and you do you have services come in.
Yeah.
So you have to think about the kind of things that you'd want to see. I mean, what is it, like Netflix? I think every like 9 months, Netflix
always seem
sends
to raise
me
it. Yeah.
like this notice: we're improving our services. Guys, no, you're not. I mean, you're paying for Stranger Things because the whiny kid wants another $1 million on his salary next year. That's what you're
So
doing.
that's what's happening.
But we're improving our service. You're not, guys. You're using the same servers. I mean, you're like, so I could see through it because that's our industry with the technology and stuff. I'd see through it, and I know, okay, well, you just want to make more money this year because maybe you're losing subscriptions.
Yeah.
And you don't want your clients to be thinking those kinds of things. So give them an example. I'm charging you more because of all these great things. Like, I'm charging you more, let's say, because I want to expand to another van, or we want to open our training facility. Just tell them, and they'll be like, oh, this is so cool. Once I pay them, we will get the reward of the new facility or the extra van.
Yeah, I mean, my child's daycare went up significantly twice over the past year, and they said something about increases on the teacher salary and doing more things for the kids in the school.
It sounds nice. I would, if they're doing it, that's good.
It was fine. I mean, it was a big increase. So it was like, ugh, but it was fine because I felt like I was getting something back from it, and they gave us plenty of notice too.
Well, and reasoning. At least they had a reason.
Yeah.
If they just sent something over that said, hey, look, you're getting charged another $200 a month. Yeah, thank you.
And that's
no.
Well, then that's what my kid's swim school did, and it was a little bit like, why is it going up $15 per child?
And so that's
nothing is changing.
Right. And so that leads to number 5, talking about keeping your increases small when possible and making sure they're related to increases in costs, improvements, abilities, and expansions in offerings.
Yeah. So if you begin using like higher quality shampoos, let's say you want to up your shampoo line, I mean,
you can do that.
Increase it, a small
Go
amount.
from 87 to 93 octane on your mobile grooming van. Pump that thing up. If you want to buy a supercharger for my Hanvy, I can get to the appointments that much faster. I love those justifications. You see, everyone that's watching this knows what I'm talking about. Your local contractor with his truck that's lifted 42 inches on 79-inch tall tires. What do you need that for? Oh, I need it for it's a business expense. I charge my clients for it. That's why it costs $300,000 to put a staircase on the porch in the back. I get it now. You don't want to be that. That's the example of what not to do. Yeah. So that's perfect. As an example of what not to do, any of you homeowners out there, go get a quote on some kind of service right now. So some sort of something. Put screen in the back porch, or I don't know, power wash the front steps. Get a quote from somebody that you haven't used before and have them explain their bill to you. I think I had a guy work on the roof of the house, and he wanted, I think it was $700 per little shield thing that goes around the little vent pipes for the bathroom. He wanted $700 each. There were like 2 of them that he had to replace. That's like a $50 part. And I know that, but I just didn't feel like dealing with it. So I had him do it. But the point of this is that there's no reason for a lot of these fees that are going on out there. And it's just unsettling. Like, would I call that guy back again to do service? No.
Probably not.
I just needed something fixed. So he fixed it because he was there, but I won't be using them again. And you don't want that to be
for your clients,
the case.
Especially for this, because it's a recurring service. It's something they do so often. Grooming. Well, pet, anything pet.
Training is like,
Yeah, anything pet. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Possible pitfalls in increasing prices.
Where's my want thing? I need to label these. I have all these buttons. I don't know which one does what.
Pitfalls. You just did
Okay. I'm just going to have they're going to clap for me. I'll label them for next time.
So what are some pitfalls?
Pitfalls of price increases. Woo. So many pitfalls. So that this is why you have to measure the impact that you're about to make. Everyone wants to make more money. Pay me what I'm worth. Everybody else is raising their prices. I know that there's a master groomer down the street charging $200 for this groom. I'm only charging $160. I'm not a master groomer, but I'm going to raise it to $200 because she is. That groomer spent a lot of time getting that status. That is you really need to work for that. So if you're just starting out, comparing your prices to a master groomer would not be the way to go because you guys are not on the same level. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Yeah.
But that's just what it is.
And on the opposite side of the coin, if you've been in the industry for like 10 years, you're not going to charge the same as someone that literally just started
Just
grooming.
started. I mean, you can jump out if you're good. You can jump out with decent prices, but you have to be relevant. So increasing your prices. One thing that it does, I've seen people talk about things like what is it? What's that phrase they use? Cuts down their client list or something like that.
Oh, decreasing. Oh man.
Something about decreasing the client list.
Yeah, downsizing client list.
Downsizing is never a good thing. Period. I don't care if you're completely like peaked out of capacity, or if you're just starting to get maybe a little bit bored of what you're doing and you don't want to do it so much.
Or if you have 100 people on your waiting list.
The 100 people on your waiting list will not be there when you go back for them. They'll already have found a groomer or a pet, some other pet pro that they can use. So downsizing your client list is never a great thing. If your business is that busy, start learning more about business and expand. You need to keep these clients coming in. The leads that come in keep you afloat.
Yes.
So I want to use my
if
box
you-
analogy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If
though.
you
I'll use it in a
downsize your
minute.
client list, let's say you downsize it and then you raise your prices to only service, let's just say for easy math, 10 clients.
Right.
That's great. So you're charging $200 for your 10 clients. What happens when you lose a client, or that client moves, or their dog passes away?
Which, I mean, they happen.
Buy a new one.
I mean, they don't last forever. Even if you're feeding top-notch food and stuff, I mean, you're only going to get, the pets are going to live 12 to 15 years. I mean, there are always exceptions. I had a 20-year-old, Yorkie, but he was blind and he had no teeth left. And you had to pick him up to move him to the spot. But at any rate, the viability stage of a dog, it's very, very short.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, let's be honest, clients get bored. Like sometimes
Absolutely.
they just want something new. You could do everything right, and they'll just want to try the new place down the street just because.
Just because, especially if you raise your price to match theirs, there's no reason why they would stick with you anymore. Oh, Susie's been using me for 5 years. Yes, but she's kind of bored of her dog coming out the exact same way if you're grooming. Or, the trainer, maybe you've reached I don't know what the lifeline is for training, but, you might want a different opinion on this dog and what he can do and where his capabilities are. So you go try another. As a matter of fact, my dad does a lot with his dog with training.
Yeah.
And he finds that, moving it between the different classes and getting the different experiences is actually a great thing. So that industry doesn't really apply here as much as, like, let's just say specifically grooming. If you start pushing clients away, I love to hear this because it's just such bad advice, last week's episode, and then it doesn't recession-proof your business the week before that episode. Have a look at those two if you think that it's a good idea to turn away clients. If you only allow, let's say you had a clientele list of 10 people and they were super reliable, very loyal, and you charge them all $1,000 each so that you can, make a crazy paycheck, and you lose one. It makes a major impact on your finances, which is not good. It doesn't keep you durable in case anything changes. So the point of what I'm going to say here is, if you have 10 clients in your little box and you lose one, you let one come in, that's great. But you're starting to tell everybody, hey, we're at capacity. We're not taking any more clients. So that, so that word starts going around. Who do you use for grooming? Oh, I called Sally's Fluffy Cuts down the street, but she wasn't taking new clients. Okay. Now we just shared by word of mouth that Sally is off the table for new clients. So we're starting to spread this information around that Sally's not taking new clients. Well, when Sally starts losing more clients than she's gaining because people don't want to go there anymore because she wasn't taking new clients, her business starts to recede. And what's the point of that? I have a waiting list. That's great. That waiting list, let's call those clients and see if they'll book an appointment for you today.
Most of the time, they'll already find somewhere else.
Right. And they get settled in. And especially if that person's providing that customer service experience that they want.
Yeah. So with that also, so if you do have a waiting list and you do plan to expand, it's a good idea to keep in contact with the clients on your waiting list, whether it's email marketing, just send something out every now and then, a picture, a testimonial, like get them excited about your business. So when you do have
mailing
an
list.
opening, when you have an opening, they'll be like, yes, finally, and they'll get in.
Right. You want it to be exclusive, not like standoffish.
Yes.
I would say exclusive, like, hey, look, can you get a spot? Oh, I got in with Sally. Those, now again, that's scrolling back up to number 2. I was talking about super expensive, like the luxury services. That clientele will do that.
Yeah.
The lower end market will not.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because one could be the same as the other. So the high-end clientele, they'll go on your waiting list. If you're that good and it's that book, they will go on your waiting list and,
You know
and
what?
stay there.
You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but Pet Pros
Usually.
probably would. If you guys ever knew about those Ipsy bags, those were super popular and everyone wanted them. They met capacity. They couldn't send any more out. You would join a waiting list and you would wait sometimes for like 3 or 4 months to get on this subscription program. It was great. It was great for a few months, and then they would cancel, and then they would let someone else in. Well, they got to a point where they had pushed away so many people, no one really was interested in them.
Oh, those little bag things?
Yes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, with like makeup samples. No one was interested in them anymore, and then they opened it up to everyone, and they didn't have a waiting list anymore. And
Crickets
I don't
probably?
even know. Yeah, I don't even know if they're still in business, but they're not nearly as popular as they were back in the day. So if you are super popular and you have a waiting list, just
you have to interact with it.
Yeah. Don't just completely push them away.
That's probably that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that we've ever given out on the podcast so far is if you let your waiting list rot away, the clients will forget about you and have no reason to ever come back.
Yes.
You're going to call and say, "Hey, it's Alicia from Fluffy Cuts.
You're on my waiting list.
We have a space."
8 months ago.
Who's Alicia? What? Yeah. I don't remember even contacting you. Like
exactly.
I like that idea a lot. So if you guys take anything away from this, if you have a waiting list, don't let it die.
Fizzle out. Yeah.
Keep up with them. Start a little mailing list. Send them just nice things.
Every now and then. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything super informational.
Nothing about your
a picture and a testimonial.
Yeah, or even just like a tip on brushing your dog.
Yes.
It's not just the top 1/4 inch. Yeah. You actually gotta get in there.
Don't brush your doodles with a toothbrush.
On the top, you mean like one of those horse bristle brushes? They just rub it across the top
all the time.
All it's doing is really compacting those mats down underneath.
Yes.
Oh God, I think we're running way over here. How long have we been running? Yeah, it's a little bit late.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap this up. Pitfalls. Yeah. So existing. Yeah, so I mean, even loyal clients will start shopping, especially if you raise your prices to the same price as everyone else in the.
I mean, yeah.
Truth
of the matter, people just get bored. They want to try something new. Whether it's one time they'll go somewhere else and then come back to you. I mean, it's that one time they went somewhere else.
Sure. And so learn from Pawfinity. I made a major mistake as running this since, it went live in 2013. I've only done, I think, like 4 very minor, like $5 price changes. And we are so far below the market value of our service that we provide that I have to now slowly creep the price up to where it should be because I didn't keep up with my own advice here. Our own advice was to, changing with your skill sets, or in the case of software, is changing with capabilities. That we can do 1,000 things more than when this came live in 2013. And other software out there that can actually not do as much as Pawfinity charges almost twice as much as we do. So, don't sit yourself in a box. Don't be Bill and just say, I'm going to charge only this much because that's what I'm sticking to. Yeah, just because. I mean, because the because was, and it's in the about page on the website, the because was so that your small shop groomers could afford to pay for it without any problems. And I was targeting a single pet to groom back from like 2009, which was like $35. I think we were even low back then. And now, I mean, I'm talking to groomers. I'm like, oh, you guys must be up to like $100. I'm talking to like mobile groomers that are charging like over $150 for like a short-haired dog, like bath and things like that. I mean, that's like ludicrous to me. So today, Pawfinity is way below market value because I was just so stubborn. I said, I'm not going to raise my prices no matter what. And you have other companies coming out raising their prices just because. And I didn't, do that. So at any rate, don't be like Bill. Don't just hold your prices steady because that's what you've always charged. You have to adapt your prices to what you're currently providing to your clients. And also with inflation, it does matter.
But that doesn't mean like a $35 increase across everyone.
Right. It has to be reasonable.
It has to be reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. So your last thing, number 7, is price decreases, which is something that's really cool. So you could go against the grain and actually decrease your prices as everyone else is increasing them, because when the other shops increase, those clients are looking for somewhere else to go. I guarantee you that. Even if it's $5, they start looking again. They're like, let me see who else is out there now.
So you can do like a sailor promotion.
You could do a sailor promotion, but I would run it for a while. Run it for a while. And I'm not just talking about new clients. I mean, just lower your prices, get the volume up. Once you get the volume up, then you can raise your prices again. It's actually the app model or kind of transitioned over to regular
Yes.
business.
Yes.
So apps come out for free for a reason. Number one, they're not free. They're mining all of your data and selling it to everyone that they can. So the free app that you installed, how can this be free? Well, it's not. I mean, they're selling your information for more money than they would charge you for a subscription. But
Absolutely.
what they do is they get a whole bunch of people. It's a like a large pool of clientele, which is always better than a small pool.
Large volume, low cost.
Exactly. So you get that large pool, and then you slowly raise your price. So if you had, let's just say you had 100 clients and you raise them all $10 per service. Let's just say that everybody gets a service once a month, $1,000 you made more a month. If you had 1,000 clients and you raise it up $5 a month, you raised it less,
A lot larger.
and you gained
impact.
5 times more revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, think about that. You have more clientele to sell to. Your increases can be smaller, impacting them less, making them say, oh, okay, $3, who cares? But that $3 might gain you 3 times as much revenue in your business.
You have a larger volume of clients.
Correct. And someone could say, your costs go up because you need another employee and this and that. The model always tracks. It always tracks.
Yeah.
Because if you have that wide pool of clients, you're going to be more resistant to, go look at the other podcasts. We talked about this already.
Yes.
The wide pool is always better. So raising your prices to get so exclusive that nobody wants to use you is not going to keep you in business. Keeping your prices
It would
reasonable.
for a little bit,
It would.
possibly.
Well,
and then,
the next visit, the
biggest
next time
thing-
Fluffy comes in, he's not coming in again because you just charged me so much money, right,
well,
Fluffy?
the biggest thing is that the impact of losing one client, and I know, some people say my clients are loyal; they'll always keep coming back to me.
They will not.
But I mean, if they move, it's completely out of their control.
If they move, or if the dog dies,
or if the dog,
or
I mean, if
they
just
lose their job.
literally want to try something new. I mean,
So
subscriptions.
So here's things. So in my grooming business back in Myrtle Beach, I had clients that were with me for years and years, and like they would like lose their jobs or their spouse would lose their jobs, and they'd still try to book appointments. I don't know what it was, but they would still try to book appointments, and so they would be like, okay, well, can you just do less this time? Okay, well, why? What's going on? Oh, well, my husband or wife or whatever lost their job and we can't really afford the whole groom. And so you cut them a deal, you do the whole groom for whatever it is that they can afford. And then you set it up for next time that maybe you adjust your schedule to spend less time there, but you still do something for them. And it keeps that client going. You don't want to just, okay, it's $100. Oh, okay, I don't really have $100 this time because it's either groom the dog or buy, groceries this week.
Yeah. That jumps back to our how to recession-proof your business.
Recession-proof the business. This
podcast,
absolutely ties in with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have to do a temporary price decrease for people, just to get more volume in, so that way when something impacts a client, it doesn't impact you as much. So if you need to drop it for a client temporarily, it's not going to impact your bottom line as much because you'll have more clients.
Yeah, but we're not really talking about recession proofing this time. We're talking about price changes. And this decrease, what does it do for you? It's going to make it'll make you more attractive to the clients that are running away from all of their other pet pros. Period. I mean, where are they going to run to? They're going to run to you. You put out a huge advertisement. You need to have a major ad campaign, drop your prices, and just run with it. So what you would end up doing is collecting all of these scattering clients because Marge down the street and Joe up the road all decided to just price gouge everyone. It was COVID pricing, 45% fee on top. There was a fee on like a tire. One of my buddies got tires at the racetrack, and the tire guy charged him a $2 COVID surcharge or something like that.
On top of already increased prices.
What are you charging for? Did you have COVID when you had to pick these tires up or something? But the point of it being, like, just make sense and be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to a big box store, like a department store, where they keep their prices low while everyone else is raising them. And they might raise them, but it's very minimal. It's just like literally a few pennies here and there to keep the volume high.
Right. Oh, I had a whole example about the Walmart business model.
Yeah,
and everything.
I didn't want to say the name.
That's what I was
talking about.
that Walmart. Yeah, the price is low. We're not saying anything. The price, what do they call that? The always low pricing?
Yes,
well, that was their gimmick.
Yeah.
Mr. I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
Walter's, something like that. Anyway, his whole deal was keeping the prices low, and he got tremendous volume. I mean, nobody can dispute the success story that was Walmart. Right. Get the volume. Get the volume, get the volume, get the volume. Everyone, if you're going to be an exclusive fancy shop, that's fine. Do that. You need to make sure there's enough people that can pay for that service, though.
And then that your service that you're offering is
of that caliber.
Exclusive and fancy.
All right. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. We went way long again, guys. I don't know if anybody's stuck with us here. It looks like we're going to be sharing this with people on the recorded side of things. So check us out on YouTube. So youtube.com/Pawfinity. You can subscribe there and see this podcast in 1080 HD, or you can view Facebook's version of it down in 720p and get
partially
censorship.
Muted.
So it's streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and some other user groups and stuff like that. So we appreciate it, guys. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to join the conversation, hop in next time. We can actually take you in as a guest. I think I can figure that out now. So we can take you in as a guest. You can join the conversation, and we can talk about these topics.
Yeah, next week. Join us next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Next week's topic is very interesting, very juicy, and I think a lot of you will enjoy that one. So
okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Get back to work. We have stuff. You have stuff, and we are gone. Say bye, Fluffy.
Bark, bark.